Hi, my name is Dr. Elisa Lottor, and I've written a book called The Regeneration Plan, A New Paradigm in Healing. And I'm a nutritionist. I have a doctorate in nutrition and a doctorate in homeopathy, and I've been in practice in Southern California for 30 years. And I have someone here who's interviewing me from questions that are sent in by my patients, and I hope to answer them.
Awesome. Dr. Lottor, you're writing a book on regenerative medicine. Do we really have that much control over our health and lifespan, or is it genetics?
Actually, we have much more control over our health and lifestyle than we can possibly imagine. Believe it or not, your body has a tremendous regenerative capacity, and your body also has the ability to lengthen your lifespan by increasing the lengths of telomeres. There was actually a study just done and published recently by Dr. Dean Ornish out of San Francisco, which shows that making lifestyle changes and making dietary modification and controlling stress will lower the telomere, will lengthen the telomeres, which are the little caps on top of the chromosomes.
Okay, what is the most important thing people need to know about health?
I think the most important thing that people need to know and realize is that our health is really in our own hands. Our health cannot be delegated to anyone else, and we're ultimately responsible for good health or bad health by the choices that we make on a daily basis. Do we exercise today? Do we eat well? Do we go to a fast food restaurant? These things will determine our health.
Okay, there is so much information out there about diet, raw foods, macrobiotic, paleo, vegan. In your experience, what do you think is the best diet?
I think everybody needs to eat for their own biological individuality. If someone is very yin, they need to eat a more yang diet. If someone is very yang, they need to eat a more yin diet. Basically, there are some general principles that I like to share with my patients. One is to eat a whole foods diet, predominantly 75% of coming from vegetables or vegetable quality foods, locally grown, seasonal, without additives, preservatives, as home cooking is actually the best. If you can do it, it will be a really good idea, and if you can afford organic. I myself go to 3 or 4 farmers markets a week to buy all of my produce, and I shop at Trader Joe's because they don't have genetically modified foods.
Awesome. Do you have any interesting cases from your practice that you'd like to discuss today?
Yes, actually I have tons of cases. I have a huge file of cases from my practice, but these are really interesting. I had a girl come to me from my Santa Barbara practice in my office there, and she had tremendous phobia, and she tried tons of medication and nothing would work for her. She had a hard time coming to me, and she was thinking of actually going into a home. And I asked her this question, and the question was, what makes you feel better? And she said, turkey. Whenever I eat turkey, I feel calm and my agoraphobia goes away. And I immediately came to the conclusion that this woman needed tryptophan. At that time, tryptophan was illegal because it was a contaminated batch. I found her a doctor who prescribed it for her, never saw her, never heard from her again. About 2 years later, I was walking in Nordstrom's in Santa Barbara, and this woman comes running over to me, gives me a hug. She said, "You're that little doctor that changed my life." And so stories like this really make me happy. Another story that I'd like to share with everyone who's watching is I had a patient who came to me in Oxnard, my office in Oxnard, and she kept losing babies, miscarriage after miscarriage after miscarriage, and she was very grief-struck. I prescribed a homeopathic remedy for her, which took care of the grief, and I suggested she go back to her doctor and get a shot of progesterone. Never saw her, never heard from her again. About a year later, I was swimming in Oxnard High School, and she comes running out of the locker room and shows me her baby. It's these kinds of things that really warm my heart and makes me understand why I do what I do.
Okay. Everyone is talking about how to live long and productive life. What do you think the factors are that contribute to longevity?
I think there's a lot of factors that contribute to longevity. In fact, if you want to read a good book, it's called The Blue Zone, where the author actually went around the world and interviewed the longest lived people like the Hanses and the people in Okinawa, Japan. I think strong family support is one. I think eating a clean, organic type diet or locally grown foods. Being active, feeling like you have a contribution to make, having strong social support, and being emotionally resilient. Those will count for a lot in terms of longevity.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And do you happen to have a Facebook page or anything like that?
I definitely have a Facebook page, and I would like people to check it out and check the part that talks about my book called The Regeneration Plan, A New Paradigm in Healing, and hopefully it will be published in 2014.